of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
The onus of New York coming back into the second half of the show. I mean, Ahezaah's peace and other blessing about your presence as well. Finish on this conversation with the Holy Apostle and the crew of A.H.A.D moment about the seriousness of the signs of Ahezaah. I mean, you asked the question, previous shows, about how many ministers ever get up in their congregation and say that they're sinners. And I know far and few between would ever do that. But the realization came when you did the show. We did that show, to truly get help, because the sickness that he's talking about, I would, because I have that sickness he's talking about. So I'm only speaking for myself in that. And recognizing, the mercy of Ahezaah, but at the same time, that devil in oneself, in that war that I go through constantly, to surrender to Ahezaah and then trying to live a life, try to be of normalcy like the world, like Brother Fakir was saying earlier. Trying to be in that, and you can't have two masters. And the struggle that I go through in that war, the messenger Holy Queen but it's a war that is a constant. And I didn't realize the sickness or the depth, or Allah could blind you from the realization of the sickness of that. And only two, like these past couple of months, Ahezaah won't let me sleep, because the thing that I had to realize and recognize from Ahezaah is that you need the help, as the component was saying. But for years of growing up, not recognize you need the help. And he would always give me different signs from Ahezaah, like a lot of psychological problems. But not accepting that was a great hurt of my own, of not dealing with that, because you want to be like everyone else in the sense that, normalcy, not thinking that your inner world is so loud that you just block it off. And I know them closets that he's talking about, because a lot of things I put into the closet of myself and lock the key with it, not to deal with it. Only to realize on this path you got to deal with it, that world, and it's, like I said, I make no excuses, Allah have mercy, but realizing that sickness to the depth and to the magnitude that I wouldn't even thought of, because a lot of things you block out of your mind, but then Allah bring them back. And that's the thing that it always caused me to deal with, in my alone time, but the sexual, gratification, satisfaction, that trying to find some kind of clinging on to, trying to find some place that to be accepted. He would always say, if you really want to be accepted in the world, you have to give up to truly to gain, And in those things that I grew up, I always held on to as part of my demonization of myself, is those things that trying to look for something to clutch to, cling to, but it's so much I either give, and his expression of these things. But and when you ask that question, even when he said to really help someone, you have to tell them about you, and it's like always that part of yourself, you don't want to be naked before people, but you're always naked before Ahezaah. You're always seen, but you want to somehow have a, not thinking you're better than anyone, but, in a relationship. But to truly relate to someone, you got to say, yeah, I'm just like you in the sickness or whatever thing that you have to deal with. And acceptance of that. So, yeah, I have the same problem. So with what Allah is showing me, its favors, I can't deny, I lied to myself, deceived myself, and the self-deception he would always say is the greatest, and no one ever think they really deceive themselves, but in looking truthfully, you do deceive yourself, and whatever form you want to take out there in the world to be a part of, you make a self-deception so you can deceive people, whatever form, so they can relate to you, and you don't feel no different or opposite of them, you know. And Allah keep giving me the story of Jonah, you know, for his last couple of months, you know. When Allah put his command on Jonah, he tried to run away from his duty, his job, only to get swallowed by the whale, and the whale represents the world, been swallowed and taken to the underbelly, and only be spit back forth. When Holy Queen was mentioning recently about the command and the will of Ahezaah. The command that it put on you is on you, and then you forget. But Ahezaah don't forget, but you forget as individuals. So, all right, if I could be like, and then you like I could come back to it, you know. That's part of that Christian mentality, thinking that, you know, I've taken coming out of the church, you know, that held on to. And the greatest thing Ahezaah is showing me is that, like Linus with the blanket, I want a security somewhere. I'm gonna give this up, but I'm gonna keep this back. It's just in, you know, wrong or just in case. But it's only realization that's coming out that you have to give up everything, even though you may be fearful, afraid. But if Allah said, those who give up for me, they neither harm nor disgrace. It's going to give them even more. It's the trust that I lacked in, you know. Almost like the story about the guy with the talents. Yeah. You know, he bury him. He gonna hold this portion. That's a little. I'm gonna give, but I'm gonna keep just in case a bad rainy day come or things like that. You know, but you have to spend it all. That I easily
gonna take it
from you. Yeah, you know.
Well,
you know, but I'm just. Like, you know, putting out there those, like I said, I know people out there, and I'm telling you from my own self, you know, that he's the messenger of Ahezaah, he's real, you know, and my actions is not falling nowhere on him because he's always been upright, standard, even in his love, even I'm trying to understand what love is. Appreciating real love comes from those that Allah give you. Even though he may smack you down, but it's in love that the smacking down come because it only wants better for you. I would always hear Muslims say, you want with your brother what you want for yourself. They say, but don't understand what they really say. But they put out this like a saying, like everything else. But he want like Ahezaah for like he had for himself. And he offers that and to give that from the guidance of Ahezaah through the wisdom that he offers to us. But not seeing that or understand that, you know, to my own detriment. Blind, I'm going to speak for me. Only hinders oneself from coming to Allah wholeheartedly in sincerity and the truth. And I was mentioning to the people before the show started about this Sufi by the name of Al-Ghazali, who had all the outer stuff. But then when he came upon his teacher who dealt with the inner things, he threw away everything he had of the outer to come to the inner. And as much as Ahezaah had given me of the information of the Christian, the Bible, you know, that was like a security blanket for me. Only like he would always say, I've given up more than I've ever gained to Ahezaah. And hearing these things, you know, but the trust, you know, I hear what he's saying because Allah still give him a lot, even though he may not paraphrase in the book, but it's more in his actions, more in his, not even so much what he said, but his manifestation of what he's giving to understand of the scriptures in the holy books that Ahezaah caused me to see, you know. And I put like I said, being my own greatest enemy, recognizing that, realizing is myself, you know. And I think about when Allah first gave me the name Slick Slayer. Now, for years, you know, one look at it first as a moniker of like a pride, but then he was like, no, look into your actions. More like, I used to give you this name so you can see yourself inwardly, how you try to deceive or be slick. But at the time, it didn't even filter in.
Being slick and killing other people. In the name of Allah. You know, you got to be very careful with the information that you receive because, see, if you're not right with Allah, you're not right with Ahezaah, you're going to take this information and you're going to use it for the devil.
Right.
And that's the problem that we have in this community, as in all communities. You know, one of the things about the people of the world in the various communities of religion, they don't understand. People here don't fully understand that I'm bringing the truth. I am with the truth, the unadulterated truth, the power of life, for real. And that it knows you and knows all about you and every other thing. And we be around here, or people be around, and they are happy to have fanciful words or fanciful dress. You understand? And they don't recognize that they set up gods with Ahezaah. They make gods and worship those things, love those things, prefer those things over Ahezaah.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. See, if I was to call you all here every day and say, come here every day after work to be with me and my Lord. Come here every day before work. Just in your sleeping hours and your working hours, don't be here, but all other times be here. Would you come? No, you wouldn't. No. You couldn't handle it. But I have to handle being with Ahezaah, Allaah, and Gabriel, and being with their conversations continuously, 24/7. Continuously. I don't get a break. And I tell you, come to the way. And I understand how truth hurts people. I understand that I haven't had anyone in my life that haven't tried to change me and bring me to their way, despite what they hear about Ahezaah and myself. Have people trying to get me to forgive those who outright curse Ahezaah because they love these people. People who would have me beheaded. And they want me to forgive them and love them and walk with them and talk with them. Because they love them. It's like the people who believe all the people they love, when they die, they go on to heaven. They go into paradise because that's my love. But let me tell you something. When people say, I know they up there looking down on us, lo and behold, hell is up there too. See, a lot of people don't know. The devil and tricked them, make them look into the earth. You ain't going to find nothing there but lava. Hell is up that way too. Or I should say out that way. In dimensions. In dimensions of reality. And we need to consider these things as people calling themselves the new people. We need to consider being more fearful of the Lord El, more loving of the Lord El. See, we love getting His gifts. We love the ease it gives us. But when it comes to trials and tribulations, we hate it. But see, I thank the Ahezaah, Allah, and it is my witness. I've thanked it for the hell it's given me throughout my traveling on the path, because I knew I was being tried. I thanked it for the challenges that it put before me. I said, I got to get through this to get to it. But see, if you're not trying to get to it, you'll never accept those trials and thank it for them. All you'll be thinking about is, why me? Why me? I give to Ahezaah. I give. Why me? That's so foolish. You got people thinking that they'll do something because they give to Ahezaah. That's just like being in the ocean, pouring a damn bottle of water into the ocean saying, look at what I'm doing. Look how I'm helping the ocean. How foolish. When everything you got belonged to Ahezaah, everything you got came from Ahezaah, it's coming from Ahezaah. And it's just putting it in your possession or the appearance of your possession as a trial. And you gonna give back like 10%. Well, I can't handle 10%. All right, I make $50,000 a year. I can give 1,000. Here, break your arm. And then think that you're supposed to get all the grace, all the talents, everything from Ahezaah. Why me? I gave you $1,000. Why me? Ahezaah called for your time, your energy, your physical being, your presence to serve it. But I'm giving something more important, my money. Your money. Ahezaah's money. That you done stole. Don't even know you stole it. Don't even know you stole it. As I grew up from a child, I learned that the thing I ignored most about my body was the most important thing. My backbone, muscles, my spine, the extension of my brain going down into my body. I had to get hurt to realize, whoa, this controls everything. Huh? Used to run around playing, had to go to the bathroom, wouldn't go to the bathroom because I didn't want to stop playing. Grew to learn. It's best to flush yourself on both ends. It's wise. The things we don't want to think about is most important. Oh, we want to glut and put stuff in. We're not too interested in letting it out. We want to pick up everything and possess it, but we're not too interested in what gives us the power to pick it up from our back. We want to put everything behind us so we can't see it. And that's a fault of man. Yes.
Let me just say this here. I'm just want to go back on what Idris was saying about, keeping something, holding on, not giving up all to Ahezaah. Mm-hmm. I know from my own experience that is true. It happens, and that's due to a lack of trust in Ahezaah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you have to recognize something that's even deeper than you're not giving up. You have to recognize the fact that people that you're taking away from Ahezaah or that you're causing serious damage to in your behavior. Because it don't just become about you and Ahezaah. What happens is it becomes a bag of garbage. Or let me not say a bag of garbage, a bag of luggage.
Right.
You understand? And on that journey, so many people could get hurt on the way if you're not true to yourself in regards to the path of the way. See, like I said, the open-ended statement, I believe, but everybody need to check themselves and say, I believe what? Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
I believe what? Mm-hmm. Because if you examine what you're saying you believe in, then you're going to see some holes.
Yeah, you may find your limitations of
and you understand what I'm saying?
Of your belief.
And that your lack of belief may cause someone else to lose out. And on the day of judgment, you're going to be held accountable for that. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've tried to put in practice is that I don't try to attach myself with anyone outside of my world. When I say outside of my world, I'm saying outside of A.H.A.D.
Right.
And I do that not because I'm human too, but I've learned through trials and tribulations and things that, okay, I'm friends with you for what reason? What reason? Are you helping me remember Allah much? If this is what I believe. Because, see, that's why I said you got to get that belief thing in perspective first. If this is what I believe and you're not helping me remember Allah much, then what I need your friendship for, because if you're not helping me remember Allah much, evidently you're helping me remember something I shouldn't be remembering. So those is one of the things I practice. That's why my phone is limited. We have to do things to discipline ourselves, to protect ourselves. But like I said, you have to check out that belief first. And once you do, then you are helping other people. Because if you're straight with Ahezaah and you believe in what Ahezaah has sent down to us through the Holy Apostle, then you say to the person, this is where I am in my life. This is what I believe. This is what I'm about. And once you do that, and if you strong in that for real, then the person gonna be like, hey, I want to check out what you about. Or the person gonna be like, psh, I'm out. You know? Or they may stay around to be a trial for you, but they shouldn't, because you should already know where they stand.
You got the power.
In regards to you. And another thing is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is dangerous. Like I said, with these relationships with people in the world, now you're going to be held accountable for not calling someone to Ahezaah. Now this hypocrisy is another thing. And hypocrisy really hits home. It really hits home. It really affects your children, your hypocrisy. How can I say you're a damn drug dealer, you're a murderer, you do all these things of evil, but I allow my family to interact with you? That's showing my kids I support you in what you do.
Right.
You should only allow your children to be around people that you support and what they do. Now, if you support that negativeness that your loved one is about, and you allow your children to be on top around them, then your children come out with that negative. Whose fault it is but yours?
And who's going to be judged?
And who's going to carry the weight of that?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with that hypocrisy thing. Because, see, we don't look at hypocrisy. We look at love. Yeah. And Tina Turner said the best. What love got to do with it? Right. Go to Allah and ask Allah what love got to do with it. Because I don't see where Allah say in any of his holy book that you are forgiven for excusing people because you love them.
Yeah. You know, on the strength of what you just said, I just want to add that I have a large family. I'm talking my relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, nephews, and what have you, and my siblings, brothers and sisters, who don't think I love them because I chose this way. Because I purposely separate myself from them. I'm only available if they need me. And the reason I've done that is to protect my children, like I needed to be protected, and to protect my own interest. Well, my children, my family is my interest. My total interest. To protect myself, because the Lord says to us, be of those who believe as you believe. Now, you're going to be of those who believe as you believe. But people get it confused to think that, well, I believe in A.H.A.D, the truth of A.H.A.D, but I'm with these other people. No. You believe in the way they believe. You believe in them and what they believe. But you trying to hang out with the people of A.H.A.D. You clinging or presenting yourself as one of A.H.A.D. But the proof, as the old folks used to say, is in the pudding. And you ain't going to change the truth. And like Ahezaah said to me, they going to be of those who believe as they believe. You see, you ain't going to have no choice. You're going to be of those who believe as you believe. Now, I had a brother who called himself my spiritual brother. We hung out for about 40 years. And in between those 40 years, we had 10 and 20-year periods where we didn't see each other and what have you. And he come back into my life and want to hang out with me. And he's known since the day I was enlightened that, you know, what my business in life is about now. But yet and still, he never, ever offered a helping hand. But he called himself my brother. Never offered one iota of help. No blood, no sweat, no tears, no nothing. But he's always found a way to come and take from me. Finally, after he come and tried to show my children my negativities when I was a child, Ahezaah opened up and showed me everything about him. And I was able to brush him off and tell him straight up, don't ever call me. I'll call you if I want you. We're done. And he says, how can this brother do this after 40 years of friendship? Was it 40 years of friendship or 40 years of association? Because I would never let a friend go. That's foolish to let a friend go. And people just don't understand what's going on with themselves. They use these words, man. You got people running in droves, hundreds of thousands of people, members of various organizations, because the numbers are so great, and they all think that they right and they together and they powerful and they this and that, and they forget Ahezaah is the one real power with the one real truth. And because they all follow suit of one another, they like a pack of animals in the African jungles, running through the wilderness and running through the waters, and the alligators snatching them as they run through. They can't figure out a better way to get over. So they run together and just get slaughtered. And that's what's happening to the communities of the religions today. Whether it's political or so-called religious or educational or whatever their way of life is.
And one of the things that I know for a fact, you could say a lot of stuff.
Yes, you can.
You could say whatever Allah allowed to come off your tongue, it could be said. But can you do it? Can you put in the work? Can you really put one foot in front of the other and walk on this so-called difficult path for the greater good? You know? And that's another thing you need to really ask yourself. Because it ain't hard. You make it difficult. Because you want to be, like you say, of other than Ahezaah.
Ahezaah said it has made it very easy for man. All those who want to surrender to it, it has made it very easy. It says the power it gives you is on your tongue and in your heart. And all you got to do is speak truth about it and beg it to accept you from your tongue to your heart. It's easy. But who finds that easy? Except a true believer. Everybody else finds it very hard because people don't want to surrender to it. They want their own life. They want to be the gods of their own selves. See, some people is crazy enough or insane enough to say, I'm God, while other people act it out. Everybody else acted out, but they say, oh, that nigga crazy. No, you crazy, because you acting it out. You acting out what they just saying. Being more truthful and saying. They believe they're God. They believe they got power. They believe they're the authority of themselves. And the brother said, we only got 1 minute and it's over, and so I guess we got to go.
Well, thank you for tuning to an I Had Moment, the calm before the storm. Write to us, Post Office Box 8795, North New Jersey, or write to us via the internet at thirdhouse@yahoo.com. Lord Holy-Apostle, Holy Queen,
Yes.
audience, those watching.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you